An unsolved mystery. More than a century old. Accident or murder? And a restless spirit, allegedly trapped in time, still stalking the site to this very day. Tonight on Haunting Australia, a luxurious retail emporium where unsuspecting shoppers rub shoulders with the dead.
And I know this place.
Welcome to the Adelaide Arcade.
Did you hear that? What was that?
One of Australia's oldest shopping centres.
So you're here?
And its most haunted.
It come out of here somewhere.
Another chilling challenge for the Haunting Australia team. From the UK, psychic bad boy Ian Lawman, medium and ordained exorcist, and old school supernatural sleuth Ray Jordan. From India, ghost hunter and metaphysicist Gaurav Tiwari. From Australia, accomplished paranormal researcher Alan Tiller. And medium clairvoyant Raylene Cable. From the US, internationally renowned lead investigator Rob Demarest.
I've been investigating the paranormal for over 20 years. You name it, I've hunted it. And I believe this team has what it takes to find out what's haunting down under.
Opening in 1885, the Adelaide Arcade is a shopping icon of South Australia. It's also home to the state's most infamous ghost. Security guard Francis Clooney is said to have been haunting the premises for over a century. In 1887, while switching off the arcade's turbine, Clooney fell into the machinery and his head was crushed between wheel and engine. The site of his death is now a dry cleaner's, and the proprietor claims many run-ins with the ghost.
But I only know him as Trickster, really, the guy that shows himself to me in a spirit form every now and then. You'll see him move past. He's a bit of a character.
Mischievous activity in the arcade is often attributed to Francis, whose nickname was the Beetle.
This lamp, it didn't fall off the counter, it was thrown about 8 feet, I reckon.
One evening we were in the shop, it was just myself doing a haircut on one guy. Then all of a sudden the bin in the corner of the shop, sort of the lid popped off it, it skidded across the floor and slammed into the wall.
This footage was recorded at night on the arcade's in-house CCTV system. Is the eerie blue glow the spirit of the Beetle? Some believe this black and white image also shows his ghost. In an unprecedented investigation, the team from Haunting Australia has been handed the keys to this exclusive shopping arcade.
Adelaide Arcade is the place that everyone in Australia wants to investigate, and not one person yet has had the opportunity. So this is a huge night for me.
I'm excited. This has never been investigated before. It's supposed to be very haunted. It's notorious in this area. I want to find some ghosts.
The interior lights are switched off. The CCTV cameras have been rigged not only on the shopping levels, but in the ceiling spaces and the roof. All lead back to Surveillance Central on the first level of the arcade. The Haunting Australia team is ready. Let the ghostly games begin. Medium Ian Lawman sets off on a solo investigation, heading to the site of the beetle's grisly demise.
Entering what is the dry cleaners, so we're just going to see what actually happens while I'm in here. The dry cleaners for me is a place that I feel drawn to, so I think it's really, really important that I always start where I feel the energy initially. And this is kind of horror movie stuff, isn't it? Walking amongst clothing and stuff like that.
The beetle's death is shrouded in mystery, and Ian is bent on getting to the bottom of the matter.
Oh, I feel really sick in here. I feel a thickness around my head area, almost as if it's been squashed. So it feels quite heavy. I've got a headache sensation. I can see in my mind's eye as I'm walking through, I can just see this big kind of, almost like a generator, electrical type power station in here. I'm aware of, what I'm aware of is a man kind of bending in to do something to the generator. Okay, Francis, the name of Francis. I was aware of Francis being in there. I was aware of the accident.
While Ian believes he's channeling the story of the deceased security guard, Raylene bravely enters the air conditioning ducts in the ceiling space 2 stories above. This is where 2 arcade workers suffered an unnerving experience.
We had to have some electrical work done up in our ceiling. The operations manager took an electrician up there, and they were both standing there discussing the electrical work that needed to be done. Some footsteps came from behind the electrician. Both of them went really, really cold, and the footsteps continued the other way.
Were they the footsteps of the beetle?
You can quite often hear his footsteps. It's not just a distant thing, it's like he's just there.
Francis, are you here? I need you to talk to me. Oh, gee. This is a really hard area to get in and out of. Gee.
The ceiling space is also a difficult part of the building to maintain communications with.
We've lost Raylene's audio.
Francis, I know your spirit's here. Why are you still here? I hear a male telling me this was his home. Is it you, Francis? And I got a very strong yes. Okay, so I can establish that the spirit that I'm communicating with is Francis.
I can hear something in the distance. I can hear footsteps in the distance, but there's not one set of footsteps, there's more than one. Yeah, as I'm kind of bending down into this generator or something, and for some reason, as he's bent over, whoa, okay, yeah, I'm just aware of this altercation, this argument going on, and it's almost as if these guys are kind of luring him, and as I see, they just push him, and to beat him up, basically, and all I can see is this man falling into this machine. Wow. Not good. So that would be the heavy head sensation as I walked into this place.
Ian's psychic vision may shed light on a theory floating around since the time of Clooney's death. Newspaper accounts reported that, prior to his passing, he kicked some local larrikins out of the arcade. Did they return to push him in?
So I feel that Francis would have been pushed and he's gone into the machine, and that's what's actually killed him. So I don't feel it was an accident at all. I feel it was murder. Okay. I need to get out of here, actually, because it's playing havoc with my head. It's really, really heavy.
He also tells me he's passing. His passing was horrific. I have to question whether or not his passing or the way he was presumed to have died is incorrect. My sense here, I do feel a sense of murder here. I almost feel like there was more to the story, and I'm getting a very strong yes, so I do want to confirm that. Am I right in saying this, Francis? Am I right in saying that it was the left side of your brain or the left side of your head? I don't know if half of his head was taken off, but the left side of the head to me was a really traumatic area.
Apparently, our team's psychics concur. The beetle was the victim of murder. Could this explain why he allegedly haunts the arcade?
Give me a sign that you're actually here. You know, it's known that your spirit still resides here. And I know this place... Holy crackers.
Coming up on Haunting Australia, the team encounters phantom footsteps in the darkness.
Is there someone downstairs?
And after the break, was it more than just a bump in the night? The Haunting Australia team is investigating the very exclusive and very haunted Adelaide shopping arcade. In the maze of air conditioning ducts above its ceiling, Raylene heard an unexplained noise in the dark.
You know, it's known that your spirit still resides here. And I know this place... Holy crackers.
Curiously, at precisely the same moment, an inexplicable flash of light occurred, very near where she was standing.
What's that?
Unaware of this strange occurrence, Raylene can nevertheless sense a presence.
I did feel the presence of a male, and he did tell me he's been watching us all day, so from the moment we've come into location, he's been very aware of our presence, as much as I've been aware of his.
Is the ghost of former security guard Francis Clooney, nicknamed the Beetle, loitering in the ceiling space? The Beetle is not the only ghost of Adelaide Arcade. In 1904, local woman Florence Horton was shot by her jealous husband and died on the very spot Rob and Alan are now entering. To encourage Florence into materializing, Alan has a plan.
Generally when people investigate using EM pumps, they use one, and one generates enough energy for them to get a good result. We've got a number of them, and we're going to try and use them all at once and just really blow the place apart with EMF and hopefully attract Florence in and see what we get. And just to put something else into play, Rob, I've got here the big boy, and this is the Super EM Vortex Ultimate.
Okay.
So this thing is really pumping out the EMF. Set it onto its highest setting and dump that one in the middle.
We're giving off some EMF.
Well, hopefully the end result will be a full apparition standing before us in front of our cameras of all that energy. I'm just going to turn my voice recorder on.
Same here.
EMF, or electromagnetic flux, supposedly helps spirits manifest. It also helps headaches manifest in humans.
Actually, Alan, just in the interest of science, it might be easier if you kind of stood closer to the center.
You just want to make me have a headache.
No, it has nothing. Come on, dude.
With such a huge amount of EMF in that room, a person who's sensitive to EMF, they're going to get headaches, they're going to get dizzy and crazy stuff like that.
If she comes in to interact with you, it's going to be right there.
I don't mind. She wants to come in.
Against his better judgment, Alan enters the hot zone.
Florence, if you're here in the building, if any spirits have come forward to try and communicate with us right now, if you're able to generate a sound from the box, we might be able to hear you right now. We want to hear you.
As the ghost of Florence fails to appear, Alan may be regretting his approach.
That Alan might be getting a headache.
Yeah, you're going to have to take this because I'm getting
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
A really bad whooshing
No,
sound in my ear.
I know. Hold on now. Because something's going on here.
Or is Rob up to something?
Arsehole. Rob thinks he's a funny guy. The dude, he gives people crap all the time.
Excuse me?
You heard.
The result of using that much EMF was that Alan got a headache, heard a rushing sound. Yeah.
Like the side of my head is hurting and I'm getting like a woo woo in my ear on that side.
Generally, it was just wah, wah, wah. He's very tough to work with when he gets like that. He's like a large baby.
You know, I can actually hear that buzzing in my ear.
I don't know why you came up with this idea. I mean, it's not a bad idea if it didn't give you incredibly painful headaches.
Oh, it's a good idea.
While Alan works off his headache, Raylene joins Gaurav on the balcony level, where strange activity has been reported.
There was a beautiful bridal shop on this level, on the balcony level, and the girls felt a presence in that shop.
I feel where we are now, and in particular, again, I just want to go up to that area, so maybe we could capture something.
Experimenting with role reversal, psychic Raylene mans the camera while investigator Gaurav attempts communication.
Gaurav Tiwari, EVP Session 1, near the bridal shop. Is there anyone with me?
Strange stories also emanate from the arcade's roof, where a worker had a spooky experience in one of its 2 domes.
There is a little door where you actually get inside, and one night the operations manager actually came out of there, closed the door, didn't lock it, but closed it. Well, the next day when he came, it was just all nailed closed. No one had been up there because no one could get access to the room.
Okay, right, let's go, mate.
But Ian and Ray have access, and they're determined to investigate.
Is it far, height-wise, is it?
Yeah, it is quite high.
The dome is in fact 2 stories high, situated atop the 3-story arcade. Ray realizes he may not have dressed appropriately for the climb.
Oh, never wear skinny jeans, that's what I say. Well, I've dressed up a little bit dapper tonight, giving it a bit of a Brit feel here, because this whole arcade reminds me of arcades back in London, so hopefully the spirits will see that and come to play. Whoa, okay.
Atop the dome, they're rewarded with unimpeded views of the Adelaide nightscape.
Sure is quite high up here.
Yeah, it is high.
Ray and Ian attempt communication with the alleged mischievous spirit.
I'm just going to put my voice recorder on a second.
Okay. So do you want to call out and see if we can get him?
If there's any spirit here, can you come forward and make contact with me?
Ian seems to be having another psychic vision.
And I can see him walking down, but I can see right down.
For a closer look, Ian and Ray descend 1 level within the dome.
Can you hear my voice? I'd like to talk to you. Let's find out what's going on. What was that?
Sounded like footsteps. Is there someone downstairs?
Hello? Hello? Both heard it. There was nobody outside. There was nobody there around that location, just Ray and I.
Despite his snug-fitting slacks, Ray scurries down the ladder.
Yeah, I've got it. Have you got the voice recorder there?
And gamely peeks through the dome's opening.
There's absolutely no one down here at all, Ian. There's no one on the walkway. No one could have got away quick enough to make that sound. I would have seen them anyway.
CCTV cameras confirm the investigators are completely alone. The arcade rooftop is empty.
No, definitely no one would have got that far.
Perhaps the beetle has extended his nocturnal wanderings to the roof. Unaware of the drama above, Rob and Alan, on the ground floor, head for the dry cleaners. The sight of the beetle's untimely demise.
Francis, we haven't had a chance to properly introduce ourselves, which I would like to do now. Francis, my name is Rob, and this is my friend Alan. We have actually come here tonight to thank you for your service to this building, and we want to get to know you and communicate with you.
Alan's electromagnetic migraine has abated.
I'm just wondering if, maybe you're in this room right now with us, looking over us and wondering about all the clothing that's in here and whatnot. Maybe you might be able to move one of these pieces of clothing for us.
Okay, we just had a large knock right above our heads. I'm now getting a cold draft by my right hand.
And Rob feels something cold go across his hand and asked me to put my hand down next to his, and I could feel it too.
Some investigators believe cold spots indicate supernatural presence.
It feels cooler.
Right here. My hand was freezing. Is there a breeze coming from somewhere?
Or perhaps it's the ghostly security guard lurking nearby.
Francis, are you willing to take my hand? Is that what you're doing now?
Did you hear that?
What was that?
Coming up, the spirit of the alleyway plays tricks with the boys.
I saw something, a dark shadow shoot across.
And after the break, a voice from beyond the grave?
What do you say?
The Haunting Australia team is investigating the historic and allegedly haunted Adelaide Arcade in the heart of the Adelaide CBD.
Is there a breeze coming from somewhere?
In the rear of the dry cleaners, Rob and Alan are convinced they heard a disembodied voice.
Francis, are you willing to take my hand? Is that what you're doing now?
Did you hear that?
What the was that?
Could it be the arcade's iconic ghost, Francis the Beetle Clooney, who died mysteriously on this very spot over 120 years ago?
I didn't catch the clip. Can you say that again for me, Francis? Just a little bit louder and clearer, please.
A clear, disembodied voice would seem to answer us. I mean, we're going to check the recorder, but to me it sounded like no.
Did you hear that?
It sounded like someone in the room speaking with us, just like I'm speaking now. It wasn't like a loud kind of in-your-face kind of voice. It was very soft but distinct.
It is very rare to get a disembodied voice during an investigation. That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're asking for, and it actually happened this time. So now I'm very excited to listen to the recording and find out exactly what was said. And now it's cold by my hand again, really cold. Alan, check this out. I'm moving my hand. Put your hand where mine was.
Are you standing right here, Francis? Can you talk to us again? I'd really like to shake your hand if that's at all possible. So I'm going to extend my hand out, and if you could come straight through here between the clothing and just grasp my hand, I'd be very appreciative. My hand feels cold.
That's what the same thing that happened to me.
It's like a breeze on the back
That's
of
what
my
I'm
hand,
saying.
and not
Yeah,
on the palm
mine
of
too.
my hand. Is that you, Francis? Can you maybe squeeze my hand? Yeah, I think I've just shook hands with Francis Clooney.
Earlier, in the arcade's air conditioning ducts, Raylene was startled by a strange sound,
And I know this place... Holy crackers.
which was accompanied by a mysterious flash of light. Gorav now plans to investigate the same claustrophobic space.
I'm gearing up to do some spirit photography in the gantry upstairs because a lot of people have heard footsteps over there. So let's see if possibly I can capture something on my camera. My name is Gaurav Tiwari. Is there anyone with me here? I'm interested in communicating with Francis Clooney. Francis Clooney, are you here with me?
But Gorav's session gets off to a flat start.
My camera battery is dead. As I ask the question, I need to change batteries now. There's a theory out there that spirit needs energy to manifest themselves. And batteries are concentrated source of energy. So it's easy for them to drain energy from the batteries in order to manifest.
Does this mean a ghost is attempting to put in an appearance?
Put a new battery here.
The Adelaide Arcade is not the only mall with tragic history. In 1902, 3-year-old Sydney Kennedy Byron died under mysterious circumstances in the Regent Arcade next door.
Manifest.
So this is the other arcade?
Yeah, this is Regent Arcade.
Okay.
And yeah, built.
And is there any connection at all?
The Byrons had a house in this side and a shop in this side.
Sydney's mother, Madam Kennedy, an alcoholic psychic, plied her trade from an arcade shopfront. She was tried for, but acquitted of, smothering the little boy, and drank herself to death some 6 months later. Little Sydney's ghost has been said to haunt the alleyway between the arcades ever since. To attempt contact, Alan has the ideal trigger item.
Just a little toy car. The idea being that if there's any young child kind of spirits out there, that they may see this object and want to play with it.
A toy car is something a child would love, even though it doesn't match the era. A child will still be drawn to that colourful object.
Alan locks off a video camera to record any prospective ghostly movement.
Anybody that's here right now with us, whether you're a child or an adult, if you can see this blue car, just come forward and give it a nudge if you can. We just want to observe, we just want to know you're here. By doing this for us, you give us some validation that we're not alone here. So please come forward now and just push either backwards or forwards on the little toy with the red light on it.
The truck doesn't move, but something else does.
Can I just check something, 2 seconds? As you was talking to me and calling out to the child, I saw something, a dark shadow shoot across from here into there, but it was low. So that's why I just looked to see if there was a cat or something.
Would it low enough to be a child?
Yeah. Thinking about it now, it was too high to be a cat or anything. And at my peripheral vision, I saw a shadow going from one end of the arcade to the other. And I kind of run over and had a look, and I could see that there used to be a doorway, and that's now been bricked up. And if you line the doorway up to where the apparition or the shadow ran to, it kind of ran from one doorway into another. So there's obviously something going on there. It come out of here somewhere. So
looks like a window.
It's a doorway.
Oh, yeah.
Or something.
Other than a ghost, what else would be emerging from a bricked-in doorway?
And that's kind of roughly where I saw it. It came out of here and just sculpted across here and then disappeared. But there's a door here.
Could it have been little Sidney Byron darting between arcades?
When I saw the shadow of the boy out my peripheral vision, that was quite a nice highlight really of the evening, because it's always great to see that, and because the other investigators have been looking to find it and they couldn't.
Francis Clooney, please say something or make some noise to let me know that you're interested in communicating with me.
Squeezed into the ceiling space above the arcade, Gaurav suffers what he thinks may be a paranormal power drainage.
My camera battery has again died, and I guess I'll need to change it again. Usually I click around 500 pictures with one set of battery, but I could hardly click 50 to 60 pictures. Again and again my battery was getting discharged.
Surely the chilly night could be a factor.
Temperature is around 12 to 15 degrees Celsius at this time. Can you show yourself to me? The temperature is not so low that it could suck the battery out so early.
Don't tell me. This is the third time battery is going. Wow.
I just changed 3 sets of batteries within 15 minutes. It's drained again. Just took a couple of pictures and it drained completely. I have a device in my hand.
Some investigators believe electromagnetic flux indicates paranormal presence.
I want you to come closer to it.
So, to assess whether his power is being drained supernaturally, Gaurav sets up an EMF meter.
I'm keeping this for you here.
Immediately, the meter comes to life.
Look at that. So you're here.
After the break, will the spirit of the beetle finally reveal itself?
Can you make it 4 if you're Francis Clooney?
Okay.
The Haunting Australia team has been shopping for paranormal evidence in the iconic Adelaide Arcade, right in the heart of the city. Ian and Raylene shared a shocking vision of the death of Francis Clooney, also known as the Beetle.
I don't feel it was an accident at all. I feel it was murder.
I almost feel like there was more to the story, and I'm getting a very strong yes.
Rob and Alan also felt his presence.
Francis, are you willing to take my hand? Is that what you're doing now? What the was that?
And Ray believes he heard his footsteps on the roof.
Is there someone downstairs?
Now Gaurav Tiwari suspects the spirit of the beetle is in his vicinity.
I was asking the spirit to manifest in order to show itself, and I started getting reply on my EMF meter. Can you bring it down to 2? Thank you. There was flickers on the LEDs of my EMF meter. There was definitely an energy field out there. There is a spirit that did not want to show itself, but it definitely wanted to communicate.
But the ceiling space goes quiet. The beetle has left the building, and Gaurav packs up for the night.
A lot of good evidence was collected tonight. I think we got some good EVPs. We got one disembodied voice, so it's going to be interesting to discuss that with everyone. And it's going to be interesting to see what everyone else has collected as well.
Shortly, the doors of the arcade will reopen, and this grand building will resume its lively existence as a retail hub. Eager shoppers, unaware of the spirited occupants in their midst. There are reams of evidence to sift through. But firstly, local boy Alan Tiller wants to introduce the team to some Australian wildlife. He takes them to the nearby Adelaide Hills, where they encounter a mob of grey kangaroos.
All right, guys, these are the western grey kangaroos. These are the local ones to Adelaide. I don't think you're supposed to eat that, Rob.
No, is it? It's quite good.
Our investigators are enchanted.
Do you know what? This is one of those life experiences that I never thought I'd ever get.
Here in Australia.
To carry their young, known as joeys, kangaroos have a pouch, a source of some confusion for Rob.
Oh, look at that.
Ew! His feet are sticking out.
They're so cute. I think they're gorgeous. To actually get this close, it's just fascinating. It's kind of a spiritual experience as well.
I would like to take one home, but
You won't get it through customs, mate, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Alan is keen to show his teammates another marsupial.
Now we're finally going to see my favourite animal, wombats.
This is a southern hairy-nosed wombat, renowned for its stocky body and thick skull.
So, Alan, why is this your favorite animal?
No, I've always just had an interest in them, even when I was little, like the big, cuddly, furry animals.
Is there any other reason why it's your favorite animal?
It's like looking in a mirror, Rob.
It is.
You know?
It is. It's like a little tiller.
That's right, it is. I'm not insulted by the wombat comments because, you know, I love wombats and I've been likened to a wombat many times before.
But it's almost like they've got the split skull.
Of course, every visitor to Australia has one thing on their bucket list: to hug a koala. And Edmund here has a reputation as the cuddliest in the park.
Nutritious diet, so...
They sleep a lot,
sense.
apparently, don't they?
Yeah, they're pretty lazy. They sleep about 20 hours a day.
Team leader Rob is up for the first hug.
What?
Pretend you're a tree, because that's how he's going to feel safe.
Okay.
Edmund, what are you doing?
Robbie's like you, all cuddly and fluffy.
I know.
See, guys, this is the hard man now of the paranormal, showing his soft side. So do they have really, really sharp teeth?
They don't have sharp teeth so much. They have good claws.
The team is delighted to make Edmund's acquaintance.
nice. Just like a teddy bear.
Now it's wildlife enthusiast Alan Tiller's turn.
Is there a inherent danger that it might see Alan as a predator?
No.
Alan plays the part of a tree well, perhaps too well.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. Sorry. Sorry. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I'm just going to grab you off of you.
Biting me.
Sorry.
You all right?
Luckily, Edmund is pried off Alan without those huge claws doing too much damage.
Yeah, I'm all right.
But what provoked the attack?
Yeah, I think he just thought Alan was a tree, so he's trying to climb higher.
Rob has a different fear.
To show who was the more dominant koala bear? Like he saw like, oh, now my twin's trying to hold me. No, he's not going to be held by a big Edmund. You know, he's the Edmund.
The natural reaction for people when stuff like that happens is to freak out and try and push the animal away, which makes the animal try and grab you more. And, you know, all I was worried about was my eye, so I just got my hand up in there just to make sure my eye was covered. And, you know, he scratched me there and then he started biting my finger. So when he started biting, I pulled my hand down, which pulled his head away from me.
Yeah, hopefully Alan doesn't take that personally. Edmund certainly didn't mean to climb up on his head.
Well, you know, something spooked it. There's something going on behind us in the trees, so it's not the animal's fault.
And the investigators have some happy snaps to remember their day at the wildlife park. The team heads back to the city to analyse the evidence they gathered at the Adelaide Arcade. To commence proceedings, Ian describes his psychic revelation of the death of Francis the Beetle Clooney.
Then in the distance, I could hear these kiddies where they pushed him from behind and he fell into the machine. And that's when the head took place for me. It was really, really explosive. So Francis was definitely murdered. There were stories and rumours that it was an accident, but how I saw it, it was pushed, so it was definitely murder.
Team psychic Raylene agrees.
Yeah, Ian, I had the same experience. I was getting a lot from Francis earlier.
The tech team were unable to gather verification of this from their equipment, even though Rob and Alan claim an encounter with the beetle.
So, Alan and I were down in the laundry, had a very interesting experience. We were putting our hands out because I felt a cold breeze go past my hand. We said, Francis, is this indeed you touching our hand? And we got a disembodied voice in response. Francis, are you willing to take my hand? Is that what you're doing now?
Did you hear that?
What the was that?
It was surprising to get this response.
It fascinates me that you know, there could be a spirit there that you can't see, but yet they can talk to you and interact like that.
In the ceiling space above the shopping arcade, Raylene was startled by an unexplained noise.
You know, it's known that your spirit still resides here. And I know this place... Crackers.
Which corresponded with a mysterious flash. Moments later, her digital recorder picked up an EVP, or electronic voice phenomenon.
Moments later. Have a listen. Only spirit.
Boo. Boo. Did you really just play us the EVP of a ghost saying boo?
I mean, we all jump out on each other occasionally and go boo as a joke, don't we, as people? So who's to say that he's not doing something that he used to do?
Only spirit.
In fact, witnesses claim the ghost of Francis Clooney is prone to pulling pranks.
He's a bit of a character. He's shown himself to so many people in the arcade and played tricks on people.
But Alan Tiller is not convinced.
All right, I know all you guys are hearing the word boo, but I'm not hearing that at all. I'm not hearing a clear boo, like someone jumping out and saying that.
Oh, did the koala in fact get to Alan's ears as well as his eye? Because that sounds pretty clear boo to me.
I'm just not hearing it this time. And you know, I've heard thousands of EVPs, but this one for me, not convinced.
Not sold.
Not sold.
All right.
Perhaps Raylene's next catch will stand up to Alan's rigorous review.
Yep. Look.
Look. Yeah.
So what was the beetle up to?
He wanted to show himself or something to you.
The beetle may have evaded being caught on camera, but Gorav believes he snapped another spirit on the balcony level.
So I want you to focus in this area.
What the hell is that?
And you can see an outline of maybe a boy standing, trying to hide. After reviewing this picture, I went down there to check if there was any mannequin. But there were no mannequins in this area. There was no reflection at all.
Again, is it a coincidence, or is it the fact that somebody's showing themselves because Raylene's communicating with them?
Because the image is indistinct, the team cannot definitively declare this is a ghost. But it will add to the rich stores of supernatural folklore continuing to flow from the Adelaide Arcade, Australia's most haunted shopping mall.
Adelaide Arcade has got some great stories attached to it. We know there's certain paranormal activity that happens within the walls. So do I think it's haunted? Yes, I do.
From a psychic perspective, Adelaide Arcade, I would say, is haunted, but in a nice way.
I think we had good success with EVP, disembodied voices, and both mediums registering contact.
I think we got enough stuff from everybody to say that, yes, the Adelaide Arcade definitely had something going on paranormal.